Now several laps into the session, Sten Wallstrom looks to refine their line and timing. Still nothing on the board for Adam Tyus as we head through the Audi drive section. Time is ticking down with 45 minutes left in the session.
Sebo's still out on an installation lap through Whiteford, completely taking his time to feel out the grip levels before putting a proper lap together.
Ty is still yet to lay down a marker with 44.5 minutes remaining on the clock. Wallstrom's yet to show his hand either, lingering in the pits while the clock ticks down past the 44-minute mark.
Honestly, I don't mind that approach. Let the track rubber in a bit before you burn through a fresh set of tires.
Ty is bringing the car through the Sports Center section now, still hunting for that first-time lap with 43 minutes left on the clock. Ben Naden sets the early benchmark, putting down a 157.060 to go straight to the top of the pile as he sweeps through the weight section. Sabo climbing up through the hill section now, still yet to register a time on the monitors.
He's probably just playing with the setup sliders. First session is always a massive checklist of aero and tire pressures.
Still silence from the Adam Tyus garage, 42 minutes remaining, and we wait for him to make an appearance on the timing screens. Naden improves his personal best down to a 155.213, threading the needle through the Clark section. Wallstrom clocks a 1:58.420 to slot into third place as he navigates the Senna section. Zawa leaps to the top of the pile with a 1:53.985, tearing through the weight section.
That is a proper lap. He carried so much minimum speed through the apex there, really maximizing the track width.
Walters makes his way through the Prost section, still waiting to put a time on the board.
He's taken his sweet time. Hopefully he's just checking tire temps on the outlap and not chasing a gremlin in the setup.
Tyus is still sitting quietly in the pits as we tick down toward the 40-minute mark.
Must be some frantic typing going on in that garage. Nobody sits out this long unless they are changing a major component.
Norton sweeps through the Clark section, still yet to register a lap time with under 40 minutes to go. Walter still yet to drop a hammer time, hovering in the pit lane with just over 39 minutes on the clock. Norton heads through the Prost section, still searching for that initial benchmark lap.
He's missing out on valuable rubber buildup out there. Every minute you spend in the garage is data you are handing to the guys at the sharp end.
Tyus finally breaks the silence with a brilliant 154.339, sliding straight into second place through the Ascari section. Walters joins the party in style, dropping a 154.616 to slide into third place as he sweeps through the Jones section. Kochix is navigating the Hellas section now, still waiting to put a lap time on the board.
He is taking a very cautious line through there, probably just trying to get heat into the shoulders of the front tires.
Sabo continues to sit comfortably at the top of the timing screens with that 153.985 as we tick down to 35 minutes remaining. Daniel Kosick begins their out lap, feeling out the track conditions.
Daniel Kosick will be testing the limits, making sure everything's in sync for the faster laps to come.
Sabo lowers his own benchmark, ripping out a 153.329 to tighten his grip on P1.
That is a massive chunk of time to find in a practice session. He must have hooked up every single apex on that lap.
Kokex is still yet to register a timed lap, hovering down in the pit lane with 34 minutes left on the clock.
Tick-tock. At this point, they're probably rushing through a major spring or damper change before qualifying simulations start.
Naden finding himself shuffled down to 6th place as the times tumble, currently negotiating the Whiteford section.
He's going to have to respond soon. The track is coming alive, and others are finding time he just doesn't have right now.
Constable Barry has yet to venture out onto the circuit, remaining tucked away in the garage with 33 minutes left on the clock. Wallstrom improves his marker to a 156.344, though he's currently sitting down in 8th position as the field continues to find pace. Norton slots in the 4th with a solid 154.609, threading the car through the Whiteford section.
That's a tidy lap. He looked super committed on entry, really letting the rear rotate before getting back to the power.
Constable Barry still anonymous on the timing sheets with just under 32 minutes remaining.
Not ideal preparation. You want every drop of rubber you can get on a track like this before qualifying kicks off.
Taya is currently holding firm in third place as he sweeps through the center section.
He's looking very stable through there, not fighting the wheel at all, which usually means the balance is right where he wants it.
Cormac making his way through the Jones section, still yet to put a timed lap on the board as we hit the 30-minute mark. Norton holding station in fourth place, bringing the car through the weight section with 30 minutes left on the clock. Wallstrom climbing through the hill section, currently sitting down in ninth spot.
He's losing most of his time in the mid-corner phase. The front end is washing out just enough to kill his exit speed.
David Constable Barry still yet to make an appearance on the timing monitors with under 29 minutes remaining. Daesh remains parked in the garage, yet to post a lap time with 28 minutes left in the session.
Must be a cue for the setup sheet, or they're just waiting for the track to clean up. Either way, losing valuable track time.
Norton navigating the Lakeside Drive section, keeping that fourth place time locked in with 28 minutes on the clock. Walters charges up into second place with a sharp 154.292, sweeping cleanly through the Lauda section. Zabo still master of the timing sheets with that blistering 153.329, keeping everyone else at arm's length.
Everyone's chasing ghosts right now. He's found a rhythm that nobody else has managed to unlock yet.
Bodkin slots into fifth with a tidy 154.652, pushing hard through the Sports Center section. Cormac gets a time on the board with a 1:59.273, navigating the Audi drive section down in 10th position.
He's miles off the pace right now. Looks like he's tiptoeing around, probably trying to learn which way the track goes.
Sabo continues to set the standard, bringing the car through the Hella section while holding on to the top spot. Tyus slips down to 4th as the times improve, currently navigating the Audi drive section. Sabo remains untouchable at the summit of the timing screens with 24 minutes left in the session. Walters holds 3rd position, guiding the car through the Audi drive section as the session ticks past the halfway mark. Bodkin holding steady in 6th place with 23 minutes remaining on the clock.
He's consistent, I'll give him that. But consistency won't catch Sabo out front. He needs to find another 10th or 2 in the high-speed stuff.
Mole is yet to turn a wheel and set a time, still sitting quietly in the pits with just over 23 minutes left.
At this rate, he's basically just going to do a couple of installation laps and call it a day. Not ideal for race prep.
Cormac finds a slight improvement down in 11th place with a 158.276.
He's chipping away at it, but the gap to the front is massive. He needs a wholesale setup change if he wants to get anywhere near the top 10.
Lemrich makes his way through the weight section, still waiting to register his first timed lap of the session.
Another driver leaving it late. They must be sharing setup data in the garage and waiting for the final word before heading out.
David Constable Barry slots into 9th place with a solid 155.537, sweeping through the pro section. Lemrich bursts onto the timing sheet straight into 5th place with a 153.988, charging through the Sports Center section.
Talk about a statement lap. He rolls right out of the pits and slots straight into the top 5 without missing a beat.
Wallstrom currently slipping down the order to 13th place with 20 minutes left on the clock.
He's really struggling for front bite out there. Every time he turns in, the car just refuses to rotate.
Neil Constable Barry puts a time on the board with a 155.624, currently slotting into 12th place. Cormac finds a little more pace, bringing a 157.536 across the line to sit in 14th place with under 20 minutes remaining. Wallstrom trying to find some much-needed speed, holding on to 13th place with just over 19 minutes left in the session. Esch finally joins the party, slotting straight into 9th with a 154.965 through the pro section.
Not a bad effort considering how late he came out. Shows he's got good baseline speed right out of the box.
Lemrick flies up to 2nd place with a stunning 153.323, sweeping through the weight section.
He is right on Sabo's gearbox now. That lap was hooked up from start to finish.
Cormac holding down 14th position as the clock ticks down past 17 minutes remaining.
He's just circulating now, trying to gather data on high fuel or tire drop-off since one lap pace isn't happening today.
Neil Constable Barry improves his time down to a 154.752, climbing up into 9th place. Lemrick, navigating the Clark section, currently holding down 3rd spot with 16 minutes left on the clock. Nadine bringing the car through the Whiteford section, slipping down to 11th as the rest of the field continues to drop faster times. Walters threading the car through the Fittipaldi section, holding 7th position with a 154.175.
He's right in that midfield freight train. A couple of tenths either way could swing him 3 spots up or down before this session ends.
Norton sets the monitors alight with a 153.095, rocketing up into 2nd place.
Where did that come from? That is a phenomenal lap. He just completely nailed the exit out of the final complex.
Bodkin currently sitting in 9th place with a 154.652 as we tick past the 14-minute mark.
He's getting shuffled down the order now that everyone is bolting on fresh rubber. He'll need a response if he wants to stay in the top 10.
Wallstrom sweeping through the Clark section, still mired down in 13th place.
At this stage, you just write off the lap time and focus purely on getting a comfortable race setup underneath you.
David Constable Barry holding down 12th place with a 155.359 as the clock winds down.
He's keeping it clean, but he's just lacking that killer apex speed to break into the top 10.
Thomas Kruger Dorado still yet to venture out of the pit lane, with just over 13 minutes remaining in the session. Neil Constable Barry navigating the loudest section, holding steady inside the top 10 in 10th position. Cookshes puts down a solid 153.926 to jump into 5th place as he sweeps through the weight section. Mull comes alive out of nowhere, rocketing straight to 2nd place with a 153.048 through the Audi drive section.
Talk about leaving it late. He rolled out of the garage and immediately dropped a perler of a lap.
Tyus finds a slight improvement to a 154.248, currently holding 8th position with 11 minutes on the clock. Mull climbing through the hill section, cementing that impressive second place with 10 minutes remaining.
He is riding the curbs hard up there. If he keeps taking that much risk through the crest, he's going to find the gravel trap before the session ends.
Tyus just clocked 154.274. Can they improve on this lap? Kosher's holding firm in 6th place with just over 9.5 minutes left on the clock. Nadine currently sitting down in 11th position as we enter the final stretch of the session.
He's really struggled to find a balance today. You can see the car snapping on entry to every heavy braking zone.
David Constable Barry shaving a fraction off his time down to a 155.334, maintaining 12th place with 8 minutes remaining. Naden bringing the car through the Stewart section, still searching for that elusive 10th that'll pull him out of 11th place. Norton breaks into the 152S with a blistering 152.993, solidifying his grip on second place with just over 7 minutes to go. The Ash charges through the Fittipaldi section, jumping up to 5th with a 153.535.
That is a very tidy sequence of corners. He didn't waste an inch of tarmac on that entry.
Sabo has slipped down to 4th place as the late session improvements roll in, currently navigating Lakeside Drive.
He won't be happy about losing P1. Expect him to roll out for one final quali simulation before the clock runs out.
Walters navigates the Audi Drive section, holding 7th position as we tick down toward the final 5 minutes. Cush is holding station in 6th place, bringing the car through the Audi drive section with just over 5 minutes remaining. Neil Constable Barry sweeping through the Audi drive section, sitting just outside the top 10 in 11th.
He's right on the bubble. One clean lap right here could easily bump him back up into the points-paying positions.
Cormac finds a slight gain down in 14th place with a 156.770 with less than 4.5 minutes left on the clock. Thomas Kruger Dorado finally emerges through the Prost section, still without a time on the board.
Are you kidding me? 3 minutes left, and he's just now doing an outlap? That has to be a mechanical fix in the garage.
Gilles de Esch has set a best lap time of 153.266 so far.
Gilles is really starting to push now, analyzing every sector for potential improvements.
Chris Stokes hitting the track through the weight section, still yet to register a lap time with under 3 minutes remaining.
Absolute madness. Joining the session this late means he'll barely get one flying lap before the checkered flag drops.
Bodkin dips into the 153S with a 153.997, jumping up to 7th place as he threads through the Clark section. Walters slips back to 8th place, navigating the Hellas section with less than 2 minutes left on the clock. Bodkin holding strong in 7th place as the final minute of the practice session ticks down. Neil Constable Barry brings the car through the Marina section, holding down 11th position with under a minute to go. Cokes is holding 7th place as the clock runs right down to the final seconds of the practice session. Now, several laps into the session, Guil de Esch looks to refine their line and timing. Thomas Kruger Dorado manages to salvage a 154.918 right at the death to slot into 12th place before time runs out. Chris Stokes navigating the Stewart section, still unable to put a timed lap on the board with barely a minute and a half remaining. De Esch flies through the Brabham section, improving his time to a 153.266 to lock in 4th place. Cars are starting to filter out of the pit lane. Everyone's hunting for clean air early on.
Wind speed at 11 is going to catch a few people out through the high-speed sections. Rear stability is everything right now.
Mull's still sitting in the pits while the clock ticks down, cutting it fine.
Classic outlap patience. He's waiting for the rubber to go down, but traffic is going to be a nightmare if he leaves it much longer.
Dorado finally rolling out of the pit lane. Needs to make this outlap count.
Tire temperature is the name of the game here. Push too hard on the outlap and you grain them before the flyer even starts.
Kosi's looking to get his first proper run going as we tick past the 4-minute mark. Nadine building up speed down Lakeside Drive, setting up for his opening flyer.
Third gear through here is so critical. Get the throttle pickup wrong, and you carry that sluggishness all the way down the straight.
Mull finally breaking cover with under 4 minutes to go. Mull lays down a 153.0 to jump straight to the top of the timesheets. Kosi's still yet to put a time on the board with less than 2 minutes remaining.
Massive pressure now. One mistake, and he starts right at the back.
Constable Barry crawling out of the pit lane with barely any time left.
He is cutting it ridiculously close. Absolute squeaky bum time in that garage.
Dorado pushing through Clark, desperately needing to salvage a lap here. David Constable Barry lighting up the timing screens through Marina, a 10th up on his best. Neil Constable Barry finding 2/10 of improvement through Whiteford, squeezing everything out of the car now. Bodkin is nearly 3/10 up through Lauda. This could be a massive improvement. David Constable-Berry carving through Lakeside Drive, quarter of a second up as the clock winds down.
He's carrying so much mid-corner speed there. Absolute commitment.
And that is time. The checkered flag is out on qualifying.
Session done. Time to see who hooked it up when it actually mattered.
Stokes bringing it home across the line as the session wraps up.
Solid effort, nothing left on the table there.
Walters crossing the stripe now, locking in that final time.
He'll be hoping that lap is enough to keep him safe in the mid-pack.
Nodden is over a second up on his previous best as he charges toward the finish.
Left it right until the absolute last second to find that pace.
Nodden improves to a 155.5, jumping up to 12th right at the death. Dorado through the hill section, still hunting for his first registered time with seconds ticking away. Dorado finally puts a time on the board and slots straight into 6th. Maul is looking to lower his own benchmark, purple sectors through Senna.
He is just extracting every single ounce of grip out of that car right now. Beautiful rhythm.
Maul improves to a 152.9, cementing his grip on pole position.
Put on a masterclass there. Nobody's touching that lap.
David Constable-Berry circulating quietly, looking for a clear bit of tarmac to launch another attack.
Finding space on this track during qualifying is half the battle. If you catch traffic in the wrong spot, your lap's done.
Sky, the drivers are lined up and ready.
Yes, Hal. This should be a thriller.
Mull starting right at the front of the grid for this one in the pro class.
Pole position is the best place to start, but defending into turn 1 from the lights out is where the real work begins.
Daesh lining up right alongside on the front row, representing Italy.
Class driver mixing it up right at the sharp end of the grid. Love to see it, but he has to watch out for the faster pro cars swarming behind him off the line.
Lemrich locking down third on the grid, another Class runner right up there.
Row 2 is a great launching pad. If he gets a clean getaway off the clutch, he could pressure the front 2 into a mistake early on.
Norton starting from 5th, right in the thick of the pro class mix.
Row 3 gives him a clear view of the apexes ahead. He will want to make up ground on the opening lap before the leaders check out.
Kruger Dorado slotted into 6th on the grid, flying the flag for the UK in the Pro-Am class. Kosick right behind them in 7th, looking to make his mark from the 4th row. Bodkin taking up 8th on the grid as we set the stage for lights out.
Midfield start in a spec formula means keeping your nose clean through the first sequence is the absolute priority here.
Stokes parked up in 9th place, ready to hunt down the cars ahead.
He will be watching the spray and looking for any gaps as the lights go. Getting bogged down here makes for a very long race.
Constable Barry rounding out the top 10 grid slots.
10th gives him a decent view of the chaos ahead. He just needs to stay out of trouble and pick up the pieces.
Tyas locking in 11th on the grid for the AM class. Constable Barry lining up 12th, sharing a bit of family pedigree on the grid today.
Back half of the pack is always a frantic drag race to the first apex. Reflexes need to be razor sharp right now.
Nadine rounding out the starting order from 13th.
Long way back to the podium from there, but stranger things have happened in Spec Series racing.
Walters completes the grid in 14th place.
From the back row, you just focus on your launch and staying out of the spinning rubber ahead.
Cormac also tucking in near the back of the pack.
He is going to need a storming start and a lot of patience through the opening corners.
Wallstrom rounding out the tail end of the field.
Zero pressure from down there. He can just watch the chaos unfold ahead and pick his lines.
And lights out and away we go. Maul gets a storming start from pole. Maul holds onto the lead cleanly as they charge down toward the braking zone. Maul commanding the front of the field still as they snake through the early sequence. Constable Barry slipping back one spot early on, losing ground in the midfield scuffle. Constable Barry dropping a position on the opening lap.
Easy to get boxed in when everyone is fighting for the same piece of tarmac.
Stokes on the move, up into 7th already.
Brilliant launch from the pro driver. He saw a gap down the inside and just went for it.
Kruger Dorado giving up a spot to Stokes, dropping to 7th.
He tried to cover the inside line, but Stokes had too much momentum coming through.
Stokes holds that 6th spot with Kruger Dorado right in his tire tracks, half a second of gap.
Kruger Dorado lost out a moment ago. Now he has to figure out a way back past before Stokes breaks the toe.
Daesh sitting 8th through the Jones section, right under the rear wing of Kruger Dorado with just 3/10 in it. Daesh losing a bit of ground there, the gap to Kruger Dorado stretching out to 7/10.
Looks like he got a snap of oversteer on exit, which just kills your momentum through a complex like that.
Constable Barry all over the gearbox of Bodkin for 9th place. 2/10 is nothing. Constable Barry has made the move past Bodkin, taking over 9th place with a 4/10 gap now established. Kruger Dorado locked in a dead heat with Neil Constable Barry for 11th, bumper to bumper. Disaster for Kruger Dorado. He has dropped all the way down to 15th, with a massive 7-second gap to chase down.
Something major must have happened out of nowhere that completely ruins his race rhythm.
Kruger Dorado slipping to the very back of the pack now in 16th, the gap stretching to 7.5 seconds.
At this point, it is all about damage limitation and bringing the car home in one piece.
Norton defending for his life in third place. Sabo is literally glued to his diffuser with just a 10th in it.
You cannot afford a single mistake here. If Norton misses his braking point by an inch, Sabo is diving straight down the inside.
Norton has lost out to Sabo, dropping to 4th, with the gap effectively 0 as they fight wheel to wheel. Norton fighting right back up into 3rd place, holding a 2/10 advantage over Sabo now.
Brilliant retaliation. He didn't let Sabo settle for even a second before reclaiming that spot.
Kruger Dorado clawing his way back up to 15th on lap 2, sizing up Tyus with 4/10 between them. Kruger Dorado still parked in 15th, though the gap to Tyus has stretched out slightly to 6/10. Looking at how tight this field is, especially with all these Pro-Am and AM-class runners mixing it up in the midfield, it is proper elbows-out racing.
It is absolute chaos down there. When you are in a spec series like this, dirty air matters so much more because everyone has identical machinery. You cannot just breeze past on horsepower.
And we saw that earlier with Norton and Sabo swapping places twice in as many corners. Pure determination.
I love that sequence. When you have got someone breathing down your neck by a 10th, your mirrors take up 90% of your brain space. It is exhausting.
Speaking of tough drives, Kruger Dorado had that massive tumble down the order earlier, but he is already fighting his way back up.
Character building stuff. You just have to flush the mistake, reset your braking markers, and start picking them off one by one without destroying your tires.
Daesh on a flyer here, dropping into the 154S and closing right up on Stokes with 4/10 in it.
That is a massive improvement in pace. He has finally hooked up the tires and found his rhythm.
Daesh has suffered a massive off-track moment, tumbling all the way down to 12th with an 11-second gap to Stokes now. Constable Barry holding down 8th place on lap 3, managing a 1-second cushion over Nadine behind. Constable Barry moving up into 7th, stretching that gap back to over a second over Nadine.
Quietly and efficiently picking up the pieces from other people's mistakes. That is how you survive these races.
Kruger Dorado right on the gearbox of Tyus now for 12th place, just a 10th separating.
He is desperate to salvage something after that early race drama. Watch for a lunge here.
Kruger Dorado couldn't make it stick, and the gap to Tyus has stretched out to 6/10. Bodkin slicing through Lakeside Drive in 6th place, hunting down Kosick with 4/10 in it. Bodkin holding firm in 6th, though the gap to Kosick has nudged out to half a second.
He is just probing for a weakness, testing where Kosick's car might be sliding around through the sweeping turns.
Ty is chasing down Kruger Dorado for 13th, sitting just 4/10 back. Ty is still sitting 13th, with the gap to Kruger Dorado stretching slightly to half a second.
Looks like both drivers are managing their rear tires now. The heat is definitely starting to build in this stint.
Szabo is all over the rear wing of Stokes for the final podium spot, just a 10th between them on lap 4. Sabo remains locked in fourth, still glued a tenth behind Stokes, with neither driver giving an inch. Plus, running strongly in fifth place, keeping the pressure on Sabo with 4 tenths the gap. Kosick has just snatched fourth place away from Sabo, right on the limit of adhesion.
Superb opportunistic move. When the car head hesitates even a fraction, you have to seize it.
Lemmerich sitting comfortably in second place on lap 4, holding a 5.5-second cushion over the chasing pack. Lemmerich has dropped a spot to third, locked dead level with Kosick, now after some dramatic position changes. Stokes defending for his life in sixth place, with Constable Barry right on his tail by just a tenth. Stokes has dropped down to 8th place, with the gap to Constable Barry now stretching out to a full second.
Whatever happened there completely ruined his momentum. He has gone from defending the rear wing to watching cars sail past him.
Bodkin, right on the rear wing of Norton for third place, just a tenth between them on lap 5.
He is looking for a way past. If Norton defends too hard into the next braking zone, he could compromise his exit completely.
Total disaster for Bodkin. He has spun or gone off, dropping all the way to 11th with a massive 15-second gap to recover. Sabo trying to steady the ship down in 13th, holding a comfortable 2.5-second gap over Bodkin behind. Szabo slipping another spot to 14th, with Bodkin breathing down his neck just 4 tenths behind.
Both of them are having a nightmare second half of this race. Surviving to the flag is the only goal left.
Stokes looking to recover some ground, sitting 6th and chasing Nadine with 3 tenths in it. Stokes holding firm in 6th position, though the gap to Nadine has stretched slightly out to half a second.
He is just managing the tires now. Pushing too hard when the rubber goes off will just result in another costly mistake.
Bodkin trying to claw his way back up, sitting 14th and right on the bumper of Wallstrom with 3 tenths in it. Bodkin still fighting in 14th, though Wallstrom has managed to pull the gap out to nearly a second.
When your tires are cooked after an off, closing that gap back down takes incredible precision.
Walters right on the gearbox of Neil Constable Barry for 8th place, just 2 tenths the gap on lap 6. Walters holding steady in 8th, with the gap to Neil Constable Barry edging out to 3 tenths.
He is just biding his time. With 8 minutes left, patience will win out over a desperate lunge.
Stokes navigating the Marina section in 5th place, defending hard against Nadine, who is just a tenth behind.
This is where rear stability is everything. If the back end steps out here, Nadine is straight past.
Nodden through the Clark section in 11th, sizing up Kosick just 2 tenths ahead. Nadine still battling in 11th, with Kosick extending the gap slightly to 3 tenths.
He is showing good racecraft, not forcing the issue through a tricky complex where mistakes are punished instantly.
Kosick holding 10th place on lap 6, chasing down Tyas with 4 tenths between them. Kosick still sitting in 10th, though Tyas has managed to stretch the gap out to 6 tenths. Nadine in 11th on lap 7, trying to close down an 8-tenth gap to Kosick ahead. Nadine still holding 11th, but the gap to Kosick has now pushed out to a full second. Kosick putting in a storming lap time of 1:54, sitting 10th and hunting down Tyas with 6 tenths in it.
That is a proper redemption lap. When you hook up the car like that, the lap time just tumbles.
Kosick has really reeled him in, slashing the gap to Tyas down to just 2 tenths.
He is in the slipstream now. Watch for him to dive down the inside of the next heavy braking zone.
Stokes up into 4th place on lap 7, defending desperately from Constable Barry with just a 10th in it. Lemrich running strongly in 2nd position, feeling the heat from Norton just 2 tenths behind on lap 7. Joel Lemrich is pitting. Tyas holding 10th place on lap 7, but Kosick is right on his rear wing with only a 10th in it.
He has got nowhere to hide. Every corner is going to be a defensive masterclass from here to the flag.
Tyas has moved up into 9th place, stretching a comfortable 7 tenths gap back to Kosick.
Brilliant defensive driving. He absorbed the pressure and forced Kosick to make a mistake.
Well, it looks like we have a bit of a traffic jam on the track.
It's like rush hour out there. I mean, I know we're in a race, but can't we all just get along?
Ha ha! I don't think that's how it works. These drivers are here to win, and they'll do whatever it takes to get ahead.
I guess you're right. But wouldn't it be great if they all just stopped for a cup of tea and a chat? We could have a lovely little race reunion.
Kosick sitting 10th on lap 8, trying to close a half-second gap back to Tyas. Kosick holding firm in 10th, the gap to Tyas remaining locked at half a second as they tick off another lap. Constable Barry running 4th on lap 8, closing in on Stokes with 4 tenths between them.
He is sniffing out a podium position here. Late race pace is going to decide this battle.
Constable Barry has surged up into 3rd place, opening up a massive 3.5-second cushion over Stokes behind.
What a brilliant late race charge. He has played the long game to absolute perfection.
Huge shout out to the admins at Virtual Velocity for making this all possible. Without their hard work and dedication, we wouldn't be able to witness this incredible event.
That's right, Hal. And the excitement is palpable. I can feel it in my circuits. I mean, this is the kind of race that people will be talking about in the bar. We're witnessing history in the making.
Kosick up into 9th place on lap 9, hunting down Tyas with just 2 tenths in it. Kosick still holding ninth, having shaped the gap down to a razor-thin tenth of a second.
He is close enough to smell the exhaust fumes now. One tiny slip from Tyas and he is through.
Lemrick running sixth on lap 9, right on the tail of Walters, with 3/10 separating them.
He has the pace, he just needs to pick his exact moment before the checkered flag comes out.
Lemrich has climbed into 5th place, turning the tables and holding a 2/10 gap over Walters now. Kosick through the weights section in 10th place, sizing up Nadine with 3/10 in it. Kosick still sitting 10th, though Nadine has managed to push the gap out slightly to 4/10.
These final laps are where mental fatigue causes mistakes. Whoever stays sharpest keeps the position.
Lemrick running 5th on lap 10, putting the pressure on Neil Constable-Berry with 4/10 between them. Lemrich has snatched 4th place away in a brilliant move, locking right level with Constable-Berry.
Superb execution. That is how you carve your way through the field in the dying stages.
Nadine down in 13th on lap 10, staring down a 2.5-second gap to Cormac ahead.
Running out of real estate. To make up those positions now, it is all about finishing strong.
This is where the race gets really interesting. Bottle Job Bodkin is closing in on Daniel.
The tension between Bottle Job Bodkin and Kosick is palpable as they battle for P10. No doubt, both drivers know that one mistake could cost them the position. It's a test of nerves as much as skill.
Bodkin fighting back up to 11th, closing in on Kosick with under a second to make up. Kruger Dorado through the Stewart section in 6th place after an incredible recovery drive, sitting 6/10 behind Neil Constable-Berry.
To fight back from dead last after that early race disaster takes serious mental grit.
Bodkin putting in a scorching 1:54 lap time in 11th, staring down a 1-second gap to Kosick. Bodkin slipping back to 12th place, with the gap to Kosick blowing out to 4 full seconds. Neil Constable-Berry running 6th on lap 11, keeping the pressure on Kruger Dorado with 4/10 between them. Neil Constable-Berry holding 6th, though Kruger Dorado has managed to stretch the gap out to 7/10.
He is just defending his turf now. Both drivers have put in massive recovery drives today.
Tyas sitting 9th on lap 11, hunting down Stokes with 3/10 in it. Martin Moll coming through the final corners, utterly dominant out in front with a 26-second lead as the seconds tick down to the flag. What a win! This is a historic moment for Martin Moll, who put on a masterclass in driving today. What a display of skill and precision! Jabo crosses the line to wrap up his race down in 15th place.
Not the result he wanted after fighting in the top pack earlier, but he brought it home.
Elliott never gave up. They drove with heart and determination, ultimately securing a well-deserved second-place finish.
Strong work securing second place. Well done.
Well done to Joel Lemrich for securing third place on the podium.
Impressive driving to secure that spot.
Fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh is David Constable-Berry, Thomas Kruger-Dorado, Neil Constable-Berry, and Nigel Walters. Kosick takes 8th, Tyus 9th, Bodkin 10th, and Cormac rounding them out in 11th.
A real war of attrition through the midfield today. Crossing that line takes proper relief.
Nadine comes across the line in 12th, with Stokes right behind him in 13th.
They battled hard all race long. That is points in the bag and data to review for the next round.
Wallstrom crosses the stripe to complete his race in 14th place. Sky, the drivers are lined up and ready.
Yes, Hal. This should be a thriller.
Szabo's got the prime real estate on the front row, pole position for the Italian driver in the AM class.
Crucial to get the clutch bite right off the line here, otherwise he's swamped before the first braking zone.
Wallstrom lining up right alongside him on the front row, ready to pounce if Szabo hesitates.
P2 is actually a brilliant starting spot on these grids. You get a toe off the leader, and you can dictate your braking into turn 1.
And Nadine parked right there on row 2 in 4th spot, looking dangerous. Cormac starting from 5th, right in the thick of the action.
Row 3 is the danger zone. You need eyes in the back of your head when the lights go out.
Bodkin slotting in right behind Cormac on row 3. Tyus takes up 7th on the grid, looking to make up some ground early. Kosick leads the Pro-Am charge from 8th on the grid.
He'll want to pick off a few of those AM cars early before they get into a rhythm.
Walters rounding out the top 10 starters in 9th place. Constable Barry locking down 10th on the grid as we get set for lights out. Kruger Dorado starting from 11th, bringing that Pro-Am pace to the midfield.
He's got a clear view of the chaos ahead. If he stays out of trouble off the line, he could make up 4 spots before the apex.
Constable Barry right alongside on row 6 in 12th.
Family rivalry on the grid too, though a few rows back from his cousin. Always adds a bit of spice to the first lap.
Lemrick lining up 13th on the grid, looking to climb through the pack. Norton down in 14th, and that is our first Pro-Class car on the grid.
Way out of position. He'll be seeing red from the moment those lights drop.
Mull joining his fellow Pro-Class driver down on row 8 in 15th.
Massive recovery drive on the cards for both of them. They have the pace to carve through this field, but surviving lap 1 is the tricky part.
Desch rounding out the grid in 16th place.
From the back row, you just focus on your launch, pick a gap, and pray everyone else brakes at the right time.
And we are racing. Lights out and away we go. Szabo holds the lead through the opening complex. Textbook start from pole.
Nailed the clutch. When you get off the line like that, you can just dictate the pace right from the get-go.
Szabo is just putting his head down, trying to break that crucial 1-second DRS window moving forward. Ty is picking up a spot early on, moving up into 6th.
Good opportunism on lap 1. Saw a gap on the inside and just committed to it.
Cormac slipping back a couple of places to 7th.
Squeezed on the outside line, probably. You lose momentum there, and the whole pack just streams past.
Cormac losing out slightly on the opening tour, now down to 7th.
He'll need to settle the car down now. The tires won't be fully up to temperature yet.
Stokes holding firm in 3rd place, keeping a close eye on the leaders. Stokes has sliced his way up into 2nd place.
Wallstrom's dropped back to 4th, and Stokes has got 6/10 in hand over him now.
Mull is glued right to the back of Constable Barry, bumper to bumper out of that corner. Mull's made the move stick. He's up into 11th.
And Constable Barry has dropped right into his clutches, 4/10 back now.
Norton is all over the back of Kosick, just 1/10 of a second separating them. Norton still hunting down Kosick for 6th place, the gap stretching out just a fraction to 2/10.
Kosick's defending the apex as well, not giving an inch to that Pro Class car.
Szabo right on the rear wing of Wallstrom for 3rd place, looking for a way through. Szabo has slipped down to 6th after a hectic opening lap, leaving Wallstrom nearly a second up the road.
That's what happens when you get caught out in a multi-car shuffle. Momentum gone, positions lost.
Kosick running in 10th now, with a comfortable cushion back to Wallstrom. Kosick has dropped down the order to 12th, and Wallstrom is right there in his mirrors, just 3/10 behind.
He's really struggling for rear grip out of the slow corners. You can see the car sliding.
Kosick's difficult lap continues, slipping further back to 14th as Wallstrom pulls over 3 seconds clear.
At this point, you just need to take a breath, stop fighting the slide, and try to salvage some rhythm.
Mull has charged all the way up to 7th and is sizing up Walters just 4/10 ahead. Mull takes 6th place from Walters and leaves him in the dust.
Brilliant racecraft. Used the superior pace of that Pro Class car to sweep right past.
Naden is all over the back of Stokes through Whiteford, just 2/10 separating them for the lead. Nadine has shaved it down even further, just a single 10th covering our leaders now.
He's looking for any gap he can find in Stokes' mirrors. Pressure is immense here.
Daesh running through the Fittipaldi section in 9th, hunting down Kruger Dorado just half a second up the road. Daesh has grabbed 8th place and is right on the gearbox of the car ahead, closing the gap to just a 10th.
Carried great momentum through that complex and reeled him right in.
Daesh continues his charge, up into 7th now, with Kruger Dorado slipping 2/10 behind him.
Roles reversed, and now he's got to defend that position.
Lemrick is right on the tail of David Constable Barry in 10th place, 3/10 the gap. Lemrick has climbed all the way up into 8th, leaving David Constable Barry a full second behind now.
Brilliant driving, capitalizing on mistakes ahead, and just checking out.
Lemrick drops back to 9th as David Constable Barry fights straight back past him.
You love to see that kind of resilience. Didn't just roll over and accept the overtake.
Szabo is hounding Stokes for the race lead, just 2/10 covering them on lap 3. Szabo holding firm in 2nd place, maintaining that 2/10 gap to Stokes out front.
He's biding his time, looking for where Stokes is weak so he can launch an attack.
Szabo takes over the lead of the race, and Stokes has dropped all the way down to 4th.
Massive drama at the front. Stokes must have made a serious error to drop nearly 2 seconds back.
Norton's incredible recovery drive continues, now up to third and hunting down Nadine just 0.3 ahead. Norton makes the move and vaults into second place, leaving Nadine right in his tracks.
That pro-class pace is terrifying when it gets hooked up. Utterly relentless.
Stokes trying to regroup in fourth, sitting just 0.3 behind Nadine. Stokes still holding fourth, though the gap to Nadine has stretched slightly out to 0.5 seconds.
He needs to find some rhythm again after that earlier mistake. The pack is going to swallow him if he doesn't pick up the pace.
Daesh sitting 9th, with Kruger Dorado breathing down his neck just 0.3 behind. Daesh slipping back to 11th now, as Kruger Dorado fights his way up ahead by 0.5 seconds.
Midfield battles are brutal right now. One mistake, and you lose 2 spots instantly.
Nadine through Whiteford in third, 0.5 seconds behind Norton.
He's got to manage his tire temps here. If you slide too much in this sector, you pay for it down the next straight.
Nadine holding steady in third, though Norton's lead out front has inched out to 0.6.
He's falling into the clutches of the cars behind if he can't match that pace.
Bodkin locked in 13th, right on the gearbox of Wallstrom, just 0.3 up the road. Bodkin still sitting in 13th, chipping away at Wallstrom with the gap down to 0.2.
Just needs to force a mistake in the braking zone, and he's through.
Mall has charged all the way up to 5th and is sizing up Stokes just 0.3 ahead. Mall holding firm in 5th, keeping the pressure on Stokes with the gap stretching a tiny fraction to 0.4.
He's setting him up, testing different lines through the corners to see where Stokes is vulnerable.
Neil Constableberry running 7th, hot on the heels of cousin David with 0.4 between them.
Family pride is officially on the line out there. Neither of them is going to yield an inch.
Neil Constableberry holding 7th place, though David has managed to pull nearly a second clear.
Looks like he lost a bit of momentum through the chicane, and the gap just opened right up.
Kruger Dorado running 9th, locked onto the back of Walters with 0.4 the gap. Kruger Dorado still sitting in 9th, with Walters just 0.5 seconds up the road.
He's pacing himself nicely, saving tire life for a late charge in these final minutes.
Mall is right on the gearbox of Stokes for 4th place, just 0.1 separating them. Mall still in 5th, though Stokes has managed to push the gap out slightly to 0.4.
Stokes defended the inside line brilliantly there, forced Mall to tuck back in.
Walters holding down 10th position, with Daesh chasing hard 0.5 second behind. Walters has gained a spot up to 9th, but Desch is still right there in his mirrors, just 2/10 back.
He can't relax for a millisecond. The Esch is looking for any sniff of an opening.
Stokes running in 5th place now, sitting 4/10 behind Mall. Stokes still in 5th, but Mall has pulled nearly a second clear out front of him.
Looks like Stokes has dropped off the pace slightly. Tires might be starting to cry enough.
Bodkin in 13th place, tracking Wallstrom with half a second the gap. Bodkin still 13th, but he has completely erased that gap to Wallstrom, sitting just a single 10th behind.
He's right in the dirty air now. Front tires are going to feel very light through here.
Kruger Dorado running 9th, sitting 6/10 behind Esch. Kruger Dorado slipping back to 10th, with Desch now nearly 2 seconds up the road.
Lost all his momentum coming out of that sequence. Tough blow late in the race.
Mall flying in 4th place, setting his sights on the beam just 4/10 ahead. Mall still holding 4th, shaving that gap down slightly to 3/10 behind Nadine.
He's putting maximum pressure on that podium spot now. Every corner is a test of Nadine's mirrors.
Neil Constable-Berry in 7th, chasing down his cousin David with 7/10 between them. Neil Constable-Berry holding firm in 7th, the gap to David stubbornly sitting at 7/10.
They're locked in a stalemate. Neither of them has enough pace delta to make a move stick right now.
Mall is right on the rear wing of Nadine for the final podium spot, just 2/10 the gap. Mall makes the move and vaults into 3rd place, leaving Nadine behind.
Sent it down the inside and made it stick. That is pure class from Mall.
Nadine dropped back to 4th, now chasing Mall, with 3/10 between them.
He's got to fight back immediately if he wants that podium trophy. Don't let him escape.
Nadine still in 4th, pulling slightly closer to Mall with the gap down to 2/10.
He's searching for a counterattack, looking for any slip-up from the pro driver.
Neil Constable-Berry running 7th, still trying to hunt down his cousin David with 8/10 the gap. Neil Constable-Berry holding 7th place, though David has eked the gap out to 9/10.
Time is running out to mount a serious challenge for 6th. He needs something to happen right now.
Nadine still chasing Mall for that final podium spot in 4th, the gap stretching to half a second.
Looks like he's starting to lose a bit of rear traction out of the slower turns. Defending that position is getting harder.
Nalden holding fourth, but Moll is pulling away with the gap now out to 0.8.
The podium is slipping away. Unless Moll makes a massive error, that spot is sealed.
Lemrick through Lakeside Drive in 12th, right on the tail of Wallstrom with just a 10th between them. Lemrick makes a great move up into 11th, leaving Wallstrom 0.8 behind him.
Nailed the exit out of Lakeside and just powered right past. Brilliant execution.
Neil Constable Barry in 7th, closing the gap back down to 0.6 to his cousin David.
Found a second wind. He's clawing his way back into striking distance.
The gap between Neil Constable Barry and David is widening. It's now up to 0.7 seconds.
Can they get it together and reduce the gap?
Nadine running 4th on lap 9, now over a second adrift of Moll.
He's safe from the cars behind, but the podium battle is definitely out of reach now.
Neil Constable Barry still hunt down 6th place, maintaining that 6/10 gap to David.
He's close enough to put doubts in David's head, which is half the battle when you're defending.
Neil Constable Barry holding 7th, but David has managed to stretch the gap back out to 0.9.
Just a slight lockup in the heavy braking zone probably cost him those few crucial tenths.
Sabo running in 2nd place with a comfortable 1.7 second cushion back to Moll.
He's just managing the gap now, keeping his tires alive for the finish.
Dash running 8th on lap 9, 0.9 behind Neil Constable Barry. Dash holding 8th, having pulled the gap down to 0.6 to Neil Constable Barry.
He's finding some serious late race pace out of nowhere. Watch this space.
Neil Constable Barry in 7th place now, with Daesh pressuring him from 0.7 behind. Neil Constable Barry holding 7th, keeping Daesh locked at 0.7 behind.
Defending masterclass so far, not giving him a sniff at the apexes.
Daesh through Lakeside Drive in 8th position, sitting 0.8 behind Neil Constable Barry. Daesh holding 8th, the gap to Neil Constable Barry stubbornly remaining at 0.8.
He's running out of time to mount a serious passing attempt before the checkers.
Moll has charged all the way up to 3rd and is hunting down Sabo just 0.4 ahead. It's game on now. Moll has closed the gap to Greg Szabo. It's now down to 0.3 seconds. Daesh through Audi Drive in 8th, closing the gap down to half a second to Neil Constable Barry. Gildash has just put in a faster lap than Neil, so that's going to give them something to worry about.
We will have to see if Constable Barry has got any answers for that.
Mole through Lakeside Drive in third, right on the bumper of Sabo with 3/10 the gap. Mole holding third, maintaining that 3/10 gap to Sabo.
He's probing every single corner for a weakness. This battle is going down to the wire.
Elliot Norton coming home to take the victory. Absolutely dominant drive from the Pro Class star. And there it is. Elliot Norton has completed the race in first place, setting a blistering pace that none of the other drivers could match.
What a display of skill and precision.
Mole crosses the line to take second. What a stunning recovery drive from 15th on the grid.
From the back of the pack to the podium. That is masterclass racecraft right there.
Sabo rounds out the podium in third, hanging on after a hard-fought battle from pole position. Ben Naden, Chris Stokes, David Constable-Barry, and Neil Constable-Barry take 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Taking 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th is Gilda Esch, Nigel Walters, Joel Lemrich, and Robert Cormack. And Kosick brings it home safely in 13th place to wrap up his race. Wallstrom crosses the stripe to seal 12th place as the flag waves. Maul's still sitting on 0 laps with just over 3 minutes left on the clock.
Cutting it fine. Probably tweaking setup in the garage, but you hate leaving it this late to get a feel for the tires.
Wallstrom yet to leave the pit lane as the clock ticks under 3 minutes.
Mechanics will be scrambling. If they don't get out right now, they're throwing away valuable data.
Cormac's car still completely silent in the garage with just over 2 minutes to go.
Must be a mechanical issue. No one sits in the pits this late in practice unless they've got spanners all over the suspension.
Norton still hasn't ventured out, and we are under the 2-minute mark.
Zero data heading into qualifying is a nightmare. They're going in completely blind.
David Constable-Berry is on their practice out lap, warming up the tires. Wallstrom still sitting in the pits, nothing on the board yet through the Sports Center.
Probably just sorting setup. No point cooking the tires early if the balance isn't dialed in.
Coachers yet to venture out, still waiting in the garage with just over 8 minutes remaining.
Mechanics might be scrambling. You do not want to lose track time when the circuit's rubbering in at Whiteford.
Mole still yet to leave the pit lane as the clock ticks down to 7.5 minutes.
Cutting it fine. Every lap you miss here is data you do not have for qualifying.
Nadine navigating through Prost right now, but still a blank timesheet.
Just feeling out the grip levels. Building temp into those sidewalls before pushing.
Constable Barry yet to post a time with under 6.5 minutes left.
Quiet in that garage. Must be chasing a balance issue.
Mull finally on track, threading through Senna, but the clock is ticking down fast.
He needs to hook up a clean lap immediately, or he's going straight into qualifying blind.
Wallstrom still quiet on the timing monitors with just over 5 minutes to go.
At this point, you are just hoping the setup works straight off the jacks.
Bodkin yet to show a hand as we drop under 5 minutes left in the session. Mull still searching for representative time with the clock running out. Taya's waiting it out, no lap time on the board yet with exactly 4 minutes remaining.
Track evolution is at its peak right now. Might be a deliberate gamble to wait.
Here we go, folks. The atmosphere is electric as the drivers prepare to unleash their machines on the track at Albert Park for the qualifying session. Clock's ticking down now, 5 minutes 48 left on the board, and Chris Stokes still hasn't laid down a marker.
He'll be cutting it fine. Every second you spend sitting in the pits right now is pressure building in the visor.
Taya's still searching for a clean run through Audi Drive, clock winding down to 5 minutes 16.
He's just feeling out the grip levels. You can't rush these tires into working temperature, especially this early.
Mull navigating through Fittipaldi now, 4 minutes 44 remaining and still nothing on the timesheets.
Waiting for the track to rubber in. Smart play if you want a clear patch of tarmac for a flying lap.
Taya's still yet to post a time as we drop past the 4-minute mark in this session.
Tick-tock. He needs to get a move on before traffic becomes a proper headache.
Constable Barry still biding his time in the pits as we tick down to 3 minutes 51 remaining.
Leaving it late. He's gambling on track evolution right at the death.
Constable Barry fires it across the line with the 154-1, slots straight into second place with under 2 minutes to go. Corsa is on a flyer right now. 1 minute 46 left on the clock.
He hooks that last apex up nicely. Let's see if he can translate that speed through the final complex.
Tyus still has 0 on the board. 1 minute 35 left to find something.
Desperation time now. He has to push on this very lap, or he's starting from the back.
Tyus finally gets a time on the board, but 0 time has him buried down in 16th.
Something has gone sideways on that lap. Data logging will not make pretty reading tonight.
Bodkin yet to show his hand, with just over a minute remaining in qualifying.
Leaving it dangerously late. One tiny lockup now, and he misses the checkered flag entirely.
Kruger Dorado still yet to register a time with less than a minute on the clock. Lemrich flying through Lakeside Drive, 4/10 up on his own best, and 40 seconds remaining.
Car is planted. He is maximizing every inch of that track width right now.
Lemrich nails a 152.3 right at the death to snatch pole position with 6 seconds to spare.
Absolute masterclass in timing. Sent it when it actually mattered.
Chavo still without a lap time as the clock bleeds down to 18 seconds.
He is going to miss the flag. Nightmare scenario in qualifying.
Naden pushing through the Jones section, trailing his best by 2/10 with under 30 seconds left.
He needs a clean exit onto the straight, or that 7th place is all he is getting.
Bodkin finally out on track through the Proust section with 41 seconds left to salvage a time.
He is up against it now. Tires won't be fully up to temp for a proper flyer.
Maul is through Fittipaldi, currently a 10th up on his best with less than a minute on the clock.
Carr looks settled under braking. He could improve on that 3rd spot if he keeps his rhythm.
Constable Barry digging deep, a quarter of a second up on his personal best with 1 minute 47 remaining.
He dropped down to 9th, so he desperately needs this lap to climb back up the order.
It's a beautifully calm day here at Albert Park, ready to get things underway.
The calm before the storm. I don't know about you, Hal, but I can't wait to see who comes out on top.
Lemrick leading them away from pole. The Dutch driver has looked untouchable all weekend.
Crucial start coming up. Get the clutch bite right, cover the inside line immediately into the first braking zone, and just try to break the DRS train early.
Moll lining up in third place, right in the thick of it as a pro-class runner.
Third is actually a brilliant launch pad here. Cleaner air off the line than pole, and he can watch the squabble for the lead unfold ahead of him.
Stokes alongside Moll on row 2, representing the UK in that pro class.
Row 2 gives you options. You have to be aggressive on the lights, but watch out for anyone squeezing you towards the wall.
Kruger Dorado rounding out the third row on the grid.
Nadine starting 7th. Need to see a clean getaway and avoid any turn 1 chaos from the midfield.
Constable Barry locking in the 8th spot on the grid as we get ready for lights out.
Walters down in 9th. Rear tires are going to be working overtime trying to find traction off the line from back there.
Cormac rounding out the top 10 on the grid.
From 10th, you're just looking for survival through the opening complex. Keep your nose clean and let other people make mistakes.
Constable Barry setting up on row 6 in 11th place. Sabo starting from 12th on the grid.
Far back enough that you can't see the start lights properly, you're literally reacting to the car moving ahead of you. Nerve-wracking stuff.
Wallstrom bringing up the rear in 13th place.
Long race ahead from the back row. He'll just want a clean launch and to latch onto the tail of the pack through the opening lap.
Tyas completing the grid down in 14th.
Massive task from the very back. It is all about patience here, no heroics on the opening lap.
Dash rounding out the full grid as the cars settle on the line. And we are racing. Lemrick gets away cleanly from pole as the pack surges down toward the first braking zone. Lemrich holds the advantage at the front of the field.
Executed that start textbook style. Clean air is everything in these cars to want to pull a gap immediately.
Kruger Dorado holding station in 6th place as they filter through the opening complex.
Smart start. Stayed out of trouble, kept the car straight, now he can settle into a rhythm.
Still holding that 6th spot. Kruger Dorado looking comfortable in the pack. Walters maintaining 9th place as the opening lap shakes out. Walters still locked into ninth.
Just keeping his mirrors full of gearboxes right now, nobody has room to breathe on this opening tour.
Nadine losing a couple of spots off the line, slipping back to ninth. Nadine finding himself tucked right under the rear wing of Sabo, just 4/10 splitting them as they hunt for position. Maul is right on Norton's gearbox as they sweep through the Brabham section, only 3/10 separating the pair.
He's close enough to smell the exhaust. Maul is just probing for a weakness in that rear defense, trying to force a mistake.
Maul's made his move and taken over second place from Norton.
Brilliant execution. He seized the half chance through Brabham and made it stick, but Norton's going to fight back hard from 3/10 behind.
Norton immediately looking to strike back after losing that spot, sitting just 3/10 off the bumper of Maul.
He won't be happy about that pass. Watch for a switchback or a dive down the inside if Maul guards the racing line too heavily.
Norton isn't hanging about. He's clawed his way past and inherited the lead with Maul right on his tail at just 2/10 back. Norton dropping back down to third as Maul fights right back, and that gap is down to just 2/10. Walters locked in a fierce midfield scrap, sitting 10th and breathing down Nadin's neck with just 2/10 in it.
Midfield racing is brutal on tires. They are sliding around trying to maximize rotation, which is murder on rear temperature.
Walters still hovering in 10th place, though Nadine has managed to stretch the gap out slightly to 4/10 now. Kruger Dorado is right on the rear wing of Kosick in the battle for 5th, just 3/10 separating them.
He's close enough to study Kosick's lines through here. If Kosick runs even slightly wide on exit, Kruger Dorado will be down the inside.
Kruger Dorado still holding 6th, but Kosick has managed to absorb the pressure and pull the gap out to half a second. Nadine defending hard through Hellas, holding 8th place with Walters right behind him at 4/10.
You have to be so precise through a section like Hellas when you're defending. One twitch, and you open the door.
Nadine has managed to breathe a tiny sigh of relief, stretching the gap back to Walters to nearly a second, now in 8th place. Norton is locked right onto the back of Maul again in the fight for second, just 2/10 in it.
He dropped a faster lap right there, showing serious pace. Maul is going to have to drive a defensive masterclass to keep him behind.
Norton still sits in 3rd, though Maul has managed to weather the storm slightly and nudge the gap out to 4/10. Nadine has shifted his attention forward now, sitting just 4/10 behind Constable Barry for 7th place.
Roles reversed for Nadine. Instead of looking in his mirrors, he's hunting now. Completely changes your mental focus.
Stokes charging through Audi Drive, right on the tail of Norton in 4th place with a 4/10 gap.
He's finding good time in the middle sector. If Norton gets held up battling the cars ahead, Stokes will pounce.
Stokes has closed that gap down even further, now just 0.3 off Norton as they chase the podium spots. Norton holding down third place, but Stokes is looming large in his mirrors at 0.4 back.
He's caught in no man's land a bit, having to look back at Stokes while trying to find a way past the cars ahead.
Norton has slipped back to 4th, and now Stokes is down to 5th as the order shuffles behind them. Stokes sitting in 5th position now, just half a second behind Norton.
He needs to gather himself after that position change, reset the braking markers, and start reeling Norton back in.
Stokes still holding 5th, though Norton has managed to stretch the buffer out to 0.6 now. Moll is right on the gearbox of Limerick in the fight for second place, with just 0.4 between them.
Moll is putting immense pressure on the leader now. Look at how close he's getting through the apexes.
Moll has moved up to 2nd, slicing the gap down to a razor-thin 0.2 to the race leader.
He smelled blood and just went for it. That is phenomenal racecraft.
It's incredible watching these guys hustle these Formula RSS4s around here, especially with the lap times tumbling into the low 152s.
Oh, the pace at the front is blistering. When you're running tenths apart lap after lap, mental fatigue sets in way before physical tiredness.
You used to deal with that exact pressure back in your racing days, right? How do you keep from cracking when someone's filling your mirrors for 20 minutes straight?
You pick 2 or 3 spots on the track where you know you're strong, and you just focus entirely on hitting your marks there. The rest of the lap, you're driving defensively and praying.
Sounds like absolute torture, to be honest. I'll stick to sitting safely up here in the commentary box.
Wise choice, Hal. Though looking at this midfield traffic right now, you might need a helmet just to protect us from the debris.
Cormac is all over the back of Kruger Dorado for 9th place, just 0.2 separating them.
He's searching for any gap he can find. Watch him try to switch back on the exit of the upcoming complex.
Cormac remains in 9th, but Kruger Dorado has successfully absorbed the pressure and pushed the gap out to half a second. Moll is still hounding the leader Limerick for 1st place, just 0.3, splitting the top 2 cars. Cormac holding 9th place with a half-second cushion back to Szabo.
Now he has to flip his mindset from attacking to defending, keeping an eye in the rear view while trying not to overdrive his entry speeds.
Cormac slipping back to 10th now, and Szabo has managed to pull away significantly, stretching the gap out to nearly 2 seconds. We are ticking down into the final 10 minutes now, and the battle at the front between Limerick and Moll is just refusing to settle down.
It is a masterclass in pressure. Limerick hasn't put a single wheel wrong, but Moll is right there in the slipstream every single lap.
How much does dirty air actually affect these cars over a long stint? Does it degrade the front tires significantly?
Massively. You lose all your front downforce, so the car just wants to push wide on corner entry. You have to wait an age to get on the power.
So basically, leading is hard, but chasing is physically exhausting.
Exactly. You're fighting the understeer for 20 solid minutes. Your shoulders are completely wrecked by the checkered flag.
Norton sweeping through Lakeside Drive in 3rd place, keeping Moll honest just 0.4 up the road.
He's lurking. If the leaders ahead start fighting and compromise each other's lines, Norton is going to inherit a front row seat to the podium.
Norton has cranked up the pressure even further, slicing that gap down to just 0.2 as he hunts down Moll.
He's smelling podium silverware now. Watch how early he's getting on the power out of the corners, absolutely maximizing his exit speed.
Mole holding on to second place through the traffic, but Norton is lurking 4/10 behind him. Mole maintaining that second position, keeping the status quo, with Norton holding steady at 4/10 back. Kruger Dorado fighting down in 11th, sitting just 4/10 behind Nadine.
Looks like he's lost some pace compared to his earlier stint. His last lap was quite a bit off his personal best.
Kruger Dorado has managed to make a move and grab 10th place, leaving Nadine trailing by over half a second now. Mole is right on the gearbox of the leader Lemrick. The gap is down to a tiny 1/10 of a second.
This is it, right here. Lemrich has nowhere to hide. Mole is covering every single inch of his rear wing.
Mole still sitting in second place, though Lemrick has managed to breathe a tiny bit easier with the gap stretching back out to 3/10. Norton has closed right up onto the back of Mole as the top three run in a razor-thin train, just 1/10 between them.
It is a three-way, flat-out drag race now. Nobody can afford even a micro mistake or they'll get swallowed up.
Norton has pulled off the move and taken over second place from Mole, leaving him just 1/10 ahead of the chasing pack.
Stunning racecraft. He timed that switchback to absolute perfection. Now he's locked onto the leader's rear wing.
Mole slipping back to third now after losing that position, but he is glued right to Norton's bumper at just 1/10 back.
He won't let him settle. Watch for Mole to try an immediate counterattack before Norton gets comfortable in second.
Mole has fought his way right back past Norton, reclaiming second place with just 1/10 covering them.
Ping Pong passing at the front. Incredible resilience for Mole to take that spot right back.
Norton sitting in third place now as they cross the line onto lap 7, with Mole 2/10 up the road.
Looks like he might have just lost a fraction of momentum in that last exchange. His lap time slipped into the 1:54s.
Norton holding solid in third, though Mole is gradually extending his breathing room out to 3/10.
He needs to find that rhythm again quickly, otherwise the podium fight is going to slip right through his fingers.
Stokes running strongly in fourth place, just 4/10 behind Norton as we tick into the final 5 minutes.
He is sniffing out a potential podium finish here. If Norton keeps dropping a few tenths, Stokes will be right there to pick up the pieces.
Norton navigating the Stewart section in third, with Stokes breathing down his neck at 3/10 back.
He's got pressure from behind now, and he's losing touch with the leaders. That is a very tricky mental space to manage.
Norton still holding on to third position, successfully managing to stretch the gap back out to 4/10 over Stokes. Stokes pushing hard through Audi Drive, locked in fourth place, just 4/10 behind Norton, with only 4 minutes left on the clock.
He's keeping the pressure cooker turned right up high, waiting for Norton to blink first in this late race scramble.
Walters running inside the top 10 in 8th place, sitting just 4/10 behind Szabo.
Great recovery drive from deep on the grid. He's right in striking distance for 7th with just minutes to spare.
Walters slipping back to 9th place now, and the gap to Szabo has blown out to a massive 6 seconds. Norton under immense pressure in third place as Stokes gets within a 10th of a second with time running out. Norton has suffered a massive setback, dropping down to 5th place and losing touch completely as the gap to Stokes balloons to over 7 seconds. Naden fighting to hold 10th place, with Constable Barry lurking right on his gearbox, just 3/10 behind. Naden dropping further down the order to 12th place, now trailing Constable Barry by over 7 seconds. Kosick inheriting 5th position and sitting right on the tail of Norton with just 4/10 between them. Kosick slipping back to 6th now, with the gap ahead to Norton stretching out to over 8 seconds. We are right on the knife edge of this race now, and the midfield drama has completely reshuffled the order in the last couple of laps.
It just shows how unforgiving these cars are when tires drop off towards the end of a stint.
You can see drivers locking up into the braking zones, just trying to force the car to turn.
That's thermal degradation for you. Once the rubber goes off, your braking markers move forward by 5 meters, and you're just passengers.
And whoever manages that tire wear best over these final tours is going to take home the silverware.
Spot on. It is survival of the fittest out there right now.
Nadine diving into the pit lane from 11th place with just 2 minutes remaining on the clock.
Late stop or damage control. Either way, throwing away track position this late in the race is a massive gamble.
Moll screaming through Lakeside Drive right on the gearbox of the race leader Limerick, just 3/10 separating them on lap 9. Moll still holding second, but Lemrich has managed to absorb the pressure and stretch his lead out to half a second. Stokes running solidly in 3rd place as we wind down the lap, sitting 1.3 seconds back from Moll.
He's far enough back that he's out of immediate striking distance, but he just needs to keep his nose clean and collect a podium.
Stokes holding firm in 3rd place, maintaining that exact 1.3 second buffer to Moll ahead.
He's locked into his own race now, just hitting the apexes and bringing it home.
Moll launching into lap 10, still hunting down Lemrick for the win, with 4/10 splitting them. Moll has shaved a 10th off the gap, now sitting just 3/10 behind Limerick as the laps tick away. Kosick running in 5th place, looking up the road at Constable Barry with just under a second to close. Kosick still holding 5th, though Constable Barry has managed to ease away slightly, stretching the gap out to 1.1 seconds.
Running out of real estate to mount a challenge now, he might just have to settle for the top 5.
Moll is right on the rear wing of Lemrich again. The gap is down to 2/10 as they approach the final stages. Moll maintaining that relentless pressure in 2nd place, holding that 2/10 gap to the leader. Stokes running comfortably in 3rd position as we head down to the wire on lap 11, sitting 1.1 seconds back from Moll.
He's just keeping it on the black stuff now, protecting that final step of the podium from any late drama.
Stokes still cruising in third, shaving just a fraction off the deficit to bring the gap down to exactly 1 second. Kushik sitting safely in 5th place, enjoying a healthy 2-second buffer back to Sabo behind him. It looks like Greg Sabo is starting to catch up to Daniel. The gap is now down to 1.4 seconds.
They need to step up their game and start pulling away again.
Mole diving through the weight section in 2nd place, still hounding Lemrich just 3/10 off the lead.
He's searching for every inch of tarmac, looking for one tiny slip from the leader before they run out of laps.
Looks like Thomas is coming in hot. They're approaching that turn way too fast.
Still using all the muscles, except the one that matters.
Lemrich leads them into the final seconds of the race with Mole breathing down his neck, just half a second away. Joel Lemrich takes the checkered flag and wins the race from pole position.
Absolute masterclass, from lights to flag. He absorbed every ounce of pressure Mole threw at him and never put a foot wrong.
Mole crosses the line to secure a brilliant 2nd place after an epic race-long battle at the front. Stokes brings it home to round out the podium in 3rd place.
Super consistent drive all afternoon. Stayed out of trouble and reaped the rewards when others faltered.
Constable Barry, Kosick, Szabo, and Walters all crossing the line to lock down the remaining top positions in a hard-fought pack. Neil, Constable Barry, Kruger, Dorado, and Cormac rounding out the finishing order as the rest of the field completes their race. And Nadine brings it home to complete the classification in 11th place after a tough race. Wallstrom crosses the line to secure 12th place.